Okay. It's never done this before. I don't want to hit X because that'll get out of it. I don't know why it's doing that. There. All right. The last test, which will be Unit 4, and this is for both the online class as well as this class, will cover sections 3, is it A, 3B, 3C, and 3D. I can't remember. I think it's just those 3 sections. I'm not going to do D. I've already thought about it. Okay? So that means I have to say this because if I say that Unit 4 is just going to cover 3A, 3B, 3C, somebody's going to ask, well, what about Chapter 1 and Chapter 2? Okay? Even though I just said that I just said what it's going to cover, I got to say, no, Chapter 1 or Chapter 2 or 3, what I leave out, D and E? Okay, does that cover everything now? All right. Oh, so I got to put this too. So that means no homework on okay, I have to say it over again. Now, the last test will start whenever I finish. On Unit 4 will start when I complete 3C. I better put 3A, 3B, and 3C. Probably, what's this week? April what? What's today? 5th. So next week will be the 10th or 12th. And then the next week will be the 19th. Probably somewhere around the 19th. Probably somewhere around that week. I'm giving myself a little bit of breathing room. Okay, so probably the week of the 19th. Last day of class is on April what? 26th or 25th? Is it 26th? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I can't remember if I put the 25th or the 26th. I can't remember. I have been known to do something special for my classes toward the end of the semester. Watch for it. What I mean by watch for it is if you see something on your homework or test and you go, golly, what's that? I better call Hubert. If you see something on your homework and test and it's a good thing, you don't call me and say, I don't understand what this is. Let me give you an example. Look, I gave everybody 20 points on the test. Or I gave everybody an extra day to do a test. Or I gave everybody something, so many days to finish this. You don't call me up and say, Hubert, I'm confused. I turned in this test and it says it's open until blah, blah, blah. Oh, just like these people that's going to call me and say, are we just supposed to do 3A, 3B, and 3C for homework? All right, so I have been known to do something special in my classes toward the end of the semester. Watch for it. If you see something on your homework and test, and it goes, and it looks, all right, then go with it. All right? Final exam will open last day of class, April 26th, and last until, when's the last day of exams? Nobody knows? We'll have to look it up then.
May 3rd.
Let's look it up right quick. I do this for all my classes because this is last week, so I don't get a bunch of stupid questions. Do I still get stupid questions? Yes. When's the final? Let's see. Message center. I just want to make sure because I sure don't want to put the wrong thing on there. Good golly molly. That cause meltdowns. Exams, May the 3rd. End on May the 3rd. Hold on, I've got to remember where I was. Whiteboard. Okay, now I've got to say this because, oh gosh, I hope it'll let me back in there. Midnight, May 3rd. No exceptions. Okay. I have to turn in grades ASAP. So don't even ask. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't. I got a department head that wants grade turn in a day early because she has 15, 20 adjuncts and full-time instructors, and the adjuncts half the time they don't do what they're supposed to, so she asked for 24 hours early, and I can understand that. Okay, so don't ask. You've got, how many days is that? You got 8 days to take the final exam. Okay? Final exam will consist of all material I have covered. Now, what does that mean? Ms. Lowry, what does that mean? That I've covered. So what about chapter 1 and chapter 2 that I told you not to do homework on? Yes. Okay, so don't email me and ask me if chapter 1 and chapter 2 is going to be on the test. Don't worry, somebody will. Final exam, they're not trying to piss me off, they just don't know how to read. Final exam will consist of all material I've covered, 2 attempts, and I usually try to keep it 25 or 33 questions. Yeah, just come on in whenever. How was IHOP? Was it good?
I was. I took my time a little bit more.
Yep. Homework will terminate at midnight, the last day of class, April 26th. Now you'll notice I'm repeating a lot. Why? I have to. Okay, what else do I need to, what else do y'all have questions about toward the end of the semester? Have I covered? I'm trying to think of anything else. I've covered the final exam. Oh, I think I give y'all 2 hours for the exam. Oh, I better put this. Highest what? What I've been doing all semester. Anybody got any questions about anything? Grade book will post. You'll have your grade calculated after in all tests and homework. Now, I need to talk to y'all about something. I'm going to say completed. Homework will terminate. I got to add something right here, and this is in red. Can I put it in red? Yeah. I will input. Is input IN or IM? Okay. I will input zeros for incomplete assignments. Okay, now I have to explain this. During the week of finals, I will, after the last day of class, when the homework is due, I will go in and put in zeros for missing homework, what? Assignments. Missing assignments can cause grade to what? Drop. Okay? I will also do this after the last day of finals. So I need to copy this, Control C, and put after, when is it? May the what? After May the 3rd, midnight, Control V. I will put in zeros for incomplete what? Tests or exams. This will also lower your grade. Make sure all assignments are completed before, when's the last day of class? The 26th, April 26th, and May the 3rd. Okay, now, I'm sorry, but if you don't turn in a homework assignment in a regular class, what do you get? You get a 0. How do I do that online? I have a screen that I go to. After you've turned in all your homework, after the deadline, I can go in and click one thing, and it'll go through and put zeros in for any assignment missing. Okay, now I usually depend on students to look at the homework, and I try to go through and take out the homework that I skipped. All right. Right now, chapter 1 and chapter 2 is not assigned, so I don't have to worry about it. But I have to go through and change the weights. After I skip something, I have to go through and I have to take the weight off of chapter 1 and chapter 2. So all the weight for unit 4 will be on chapter 3, or 3A, 3B, and 3C. So you're going to have to, watch that stuff, and you're going to have to make sure that you complete everything that I cover. And that's your responsibility. And that's why also toward the end of the semester, I give y'all the surprise that I give y'all to kind of help with that. Okay? If you've had me before, the last 5 or 6 years, I do this every semester. Okay? Ms. Roebuck, I did something for your class, didn't I? Okay. Ms. Bennett? Yeah. So, just look for it. Any questions? Have I covered pretty much everything about the last week?
Yeah. 3 lines up, though, you want to change that L back to L dot.
3 lines up, what?
Right there.
L dot. Oh, thank you. Yeah, somebody will say, what is that?
They'll think that's something.
Yeah, they'll think it's something else. Okay, anything else? Any other questions? Have I covered everything that you got a question about the final exam? Okay. Make sure you got this written down, or watch the video and go back over it. I hope I've done everything right. Okay? Now, the next 3 sections is going to be pretty much basic math. Okay? All except for scientific notation. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to cover a little bit of percentages today, and then I'll cover scientific notation when y'all come back. But today we're just going to work on percentages. I'm just going to cover fractions, decimals, and percents. I'll probably test you on percents, because I'm not going to test you too much on fractions and decimals, because most of you are in 103. I don't think I need to go over fractions and decimals. I'll go over kind of a rundown, not of operations. I'm not going to, I'll tell you what to do just to review, but decimals, I'll just kind of give or review. Of course, fractions, 1/2, of course, 2 pieces of pizza, and you eat 1. But you can also take that pizza and cut it into 4s. And if you eat 1/2, that's the same thing as 2 out of 4. If I divide it into whatever that is, which is what, 8 eighths, I cut it into 8 slices, then if you still eat half the pizza, you eat 4/8. And I'm not going to go over too much of what fractions are, but that's what they are. There's two types of fractions. There's proper, which means bottom heavy, and there's improper, which means top heavy. 3/2 is improper. 3/2 means that you've got one pizza, but you also got what? Another half of pizza. Okay? And that's equal to a mixed number, which is 1/2. This is a mixed number. Mixed numbers are only used when you use units of what? Units of measure. Nobody walks into Walmart and asks for 3/2 speed of road. Okay? That's only used, mixed numbers are only used. I do, I'm one of those weird people that loves swimming. A lot of people think or have been told that you reduce 3/2 to 1 1/2, so that's not right. You're using the wrong terminology. You're rewriting. Because reducing is lessening or simplifying the number of times your pencil hits paper. So 3/2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's not reducing. That's not simplifying. That's rewriting. So if any teacher has told you reduce 3/2 to 1 1/2, that's wrong. All right. So just thought I'd tell you that. Of course, you can divide 2 into 3. And 2 will go in there one time, and 2 will go into 10 5 times. This one comes up, and that is a decimal. So fractions give you decimals. And I'm not going to cover too much decimals except for make sure that you know how to round your decimals. 1.625. If I told you to round to the hundredths, you would say 1.63. Because 5 goes up. 5 or more goes up. And just remember how to round. I'm not going to cover how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide.
Oh, that rain.
I don't think I need to cover how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions, because you should know that. I will cover how to go between 3. Percent means per census. Per census divide by what? 100. So when you see percent, that actually means divide by 100. So if I give you 25%, I can write that as a fraction by calling it 25 over what? And then I can make that into a decimal by saying 0.25. Because we all know the trick is you multiply by tens, hundreds, thousands. What do? You count the zeros and you move the decimal to the what? To the right, that number of places. No matter what class I teach, when I show this, I always get the student going. I never do that. So if I take 16 and multiply by 100, I count the number of zeros, and I move the decimal 2 places to the right. And that's with any number. And when you divide by 10, it's like here, divide by 100. When you divide by 100 or 1,000, you count the number of zeros, and you move the decimal place what? To the left, that number of times. So I take 25 and divide by 100, I count the zeros, and I move the decimal 2 places to the left. Okay, so that's a little bit about percent, how you go from percent to fraction to decimal, how you go from decimal to fraction. Count the number of places. The 100th place, that means 25 over 100. Something else I found that people don't realize when you're talking about fractions, or you can easily, if I give you, hold on a second, if I give you 15, no, let's say I give you 16 over 20. Well, I can easily change it into a decimal. I can calculate a decimal in my head. Okay, and some of y'all go, oh wait, how do you divide 20 and 16 in your head? You don't do that. Remember, our number system is based on what? 10. The decimal system is based on tens, hundreds, thousands. So if I want to change this into a decimal, I just try to make this right here a 10, or 100, or 1,000, or whatever you need. And I'm going to divide by 2 here and 2 here. That'll give me what? 8 up here, and what down on the bottom? Well, 8/10 is what? 0.8. And what you just did is you just changed this fraction into a decimal without even using a calculator. A lot of people have never seen this before. They've never put that together. Same thing with this. Try this. 1.5 over 20. I'm sorry. Hold on. 1.4. I don't know how to do that. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. And that gives you 0.7 over what? And what do you do when you divide by 10? You move the decimal what? 0.07. So that's another little trick that you learn. If you can make this number a 10 or 100 or 1,000, then you can write it as a decimal. Okay? That's another little trick. Now, let's talk about percents. Calculating percent, because that's sometimes people don't know how to do this. Now, of course, there's people that invented percents. There's people that invented mathematics. Okay? So there's people that know how to do it. Okay? And that's good. If you know how to calculate percents in your head, that's good. But some people don't know how to do it. So, calculating percents, there's 2 types of questions. One is called a sentence problem, and you've seen it on any of your standardized tests. Sentence problems are problems that just one sentence. 20 is what percent of 127? What percent, or what is 20% of 314? Like those type questions. And when you have those type questions on a test, you use is of percent over what? 100. And you go through and you pick out what you need. Then you go take your highlighter. What percent of bit X take another highlighter, blue, of 127. And 20 is. And now you just do what? Cross multiply and solve for x. Well, 20 times 100 is 2 what? Now you need a calculator, because unless you're Rain Man, you have no idea what 2,000 divided by 127 is. And you get x is equal to what? Somebody take 2,000 and divide it by 127. What do you get? 16%. So 20 is 16% of 127. Now you do the second one. And then we'll move on to the Walmart equation. One of the reasons I love thunderstorms is I grew up on the farm. And what do you do when it rains? Nothing. So I didn't have to work. And I prayed for rain when I was growing up. My ex-wife used to say I was abused growing up. I wouldn't trade it for anything, because look what we got now. That's one woman I would not work for, is my mother. Even the people that worked on our farm didn't want to work with my mother. My mother will work any man into the dirt, especially in the garden. You get to the end of one row, and you be weeding, or you be picking beans, and, okay, Mom, I'm done. Okay, get on the next row. And then you get through weeding, you get through, Mom, I'm done. Okay, then you go over here and do this, do that. And I'm like, she worked any man in the dirt. Well, I didn't have sense enough to realize that. Yeah. Oh, she caught me down at the creek when I was supposed to be milking one time. We had 250 registered Holsteins, and we milked cows till I was like 19. And she caught me down at the creek when I was about 7 or 8, and I was supposed to be milking. She snuck up. Woo-wee. And one time she gave me a whipping, and the dog jumped in and tried to bite me, because she loves dogs. Maybe that's why I hate her. And all her dogs, if you get near her and aggressive, the dogs will attack you. Well, I was running around in circles trying to get away from the switch, and she was holding me by the hand, so the dog thought I was fighting with her, so the dog started biting me. Well, it was a border collie. They don't fight, they just nip. Yeah, so anyway, I was abused. My daddy was the one that tried to run over the truck one time. Yeah, he was the one. You got parents. One parent we use switches, fly swatters. The other parent just pick up whatever they get. That was my dad. Bush axe, shovel, truck, whatever. He never would hit you. He just scared the crap out of you.
You had a guide.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. I could write a book, let me tell you. And then there was thunderstorms like this one, they call up the silo. Go up to the silo, close the door. I was about 7 or 8 years old. Whoa. Okay. What is and 20% of 314? So 314 will go in the of. Is x, good, and 20 over 100. Now this one you might can knock out a little bit by using your head because of the zeros. 100x is equal to 314 times 20. Now, don't reach for a calculator yet, because 314 times 10 is 3140. And 3140 added to itself is 6280. And then 100x is equal to 6280, and you use your division rule, and your answer is what? 62.8. That's the answer. Now that's called using the brain. You shouldn't have to use a calculator for this problem. If you have to use a calculator for this problem, you need to brush up your math skills. And I'm not looking at anybody, I don't think you have a calculator out or not. But you should be able to do this without a calculator. And that's how you use sentence problems. Now, most of you have seen these sentence type problems on the standardized test. The problems that I'm fixing to show you next, that's kind of something I made up. It's called the Walmart equation. I made this up a long time ago when I was teaching basic math. And I said, you know, you always go into a store with just $5 or just $10. You know, when you're a kid, you just had $5. And you think about what you're buying, and you add the tax in your head. You know how you do 5 cents on a dollar? So you take $20 and multiply it by whatever you need to. So the Walmart equation is what I call it. I don't think Walmart's suing me yet. And everybody uses it when you're talking about tax or making sure you've got enough money. And that is x plus or minus percentage x is equal to the total. Example. Let's say you buy a shirt, or you go by the main actionality. You can tell I work at Walmart. And they have shirts, and there's a shirt on the main actionality. They all got a sign on it. You can be in, and shirts are on sale, and they're 20% off. No, let's do something like 26% off. 26% off. And you don't know how much this shirt is because the tag's been ripped off. Okay? So you take it up to the counter, and they say that the total is $27.15. So how do you find the original price? Because you don't know what the original price was. Now, a lot of people think you can use is of percent over 100. You can't. You can use it if you use several different steps. But the only way to do this type problem, when you find the original price, or the original cost of the meal, or the original, is the Walmart equation. A lot of people say, well, you take 26% off of 27. No, you can't do it. That's what the original price is. So I'm just telling you, you can't do it. So x minus 0.26x is equal to 27.15. Why did I use the minus sign? because it's all. Okay? Minus sign you use when you're talking about discounts. Plus is taxes and tips. And that's going to be what? 0.74 x is equal to 27.15. The number one question I get is, where's the 0.74 come from? Well, what's in front of this x? $1 minus 26 cents is 74 cents. And somebody take your handy dandy calculator and divide by 0.74. Somebody give me that answer. $36.70. So when you're talking about finding the original price of something, you need to use the Walmart equation. You can also use the Walmart equation for different type problems when you're talking about adding taxes, tips. There was one that we used, I can't remember. I think it was in another class we used it for something, I can't remember. But anyway, that's how you use it. Question. So let's try one. Let's say you go to a restaurant. My favorite is Outback. So let's say you go to Outback and you just have a good old time. You have some refreshments. You have appetizer. I don't know how to spell appetizer. So then you have your meal. And then you have the one of the big old desserts. And it's you and a friend. And with the tip and everything, it comes out to be $75.32. And you gave a 25% tip. So what was the original cost of the meal? X plus or minus percentage X is equal to the total. I'll let y'all go early today because they're going to break down the door.
You still got last time. You left late.
I know. Well, that's because the test is kind of long. And if you haven't taken your test yet, I've extended it another 30 minutes because I don't want y'all to spaz and then cuss me out by email or text.
30 minutes. Oh, on 10?
So you got 2 hours to take the test. Yeah, the one we just finished.
Yes.
What's Monday?
6.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know it was due Monday. I'm sorry. I don't keep up with the dates. After I put them in, I don't keep up with them. So,
We're the only ones who feel that.
yeah, y'all the only ones who do. I don't.
Now, how many y'all meals did we do?
250.
3.
Double 8, or double 4. 4 on each side. With a pit. It'd be 3 hours every morning and every night. But I'd have to leave. I'd help start milk in the morning because I'd have to go to school at 7. So I had to run up the hill and change clothes and take a bath and get ready for school at 7. You had double trouble, yeah. What kind of farm?
We had horses, like, very large garden.
We had a 5-acre garden. We had a whole bottom, 5 acres. but we had a truck farm, so we would take it to the farmer's market. Yeah,
We still have cans for like the 90s.
oh yeah. I used to pick blackberries and shell butter beans, and I would sell them at the farmer's market. And I would make a killing during the summer. I'd take away $100, $200 because people are lazy. They don't want to sell butter beans and they don't want to pick blackberries. Yeah, that's what I said. I thought I said that. Did I not say that?
Blackberry.
Oh, pick them. Okay, shell. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, blackberries don't have no overhead.
You don't do anything.
Yep. Me and my sister would pick blackberries. We'd run all over that farm, and we got Genesee Creek runs right through our farm, and on the side of Genesee Creek, it's just tons of blackberry bushes, about 10 feet high. And we just spend, of course, we would run across occasional wild animals, snakes, and stuff like that, but we had our dogs with us, mama's dogs. The ones that tried to fight us. I do hate dogs. No, they didn't take me. They were with my sister all the time. They knew I didn't like them. Only dog I like is Fred on Smoky Bandit. That's the only kind of dog I like. He barks once a year. Nessie is sick. Okay, x plus 0.25x is equal to 75.32. And that's going to be 1.25x is equal to 75.32. Divide by 1.25, get your calculators out. And x is equal to what? Okay, spend it. 60.26. $60. The meal, the refreshments and the appetizer and the meal and the dessert cost $60. Question. No sneezing in class. Questions on anything so far? About what? What? Yes, I did that at the beginning of class. Hold on. There we go. I'll leave it up there for anybody that came in late, because I think a couple of y'all came in late, like Miss Roebuck. All right, let me stop the do-jigger and I'll put it back up. Hold on. Let me stop it. Skype people, y'all good?
Yes.
All right.